We are back with week 5. My opponent Michiru has Tornadus Incarnate, who is possibly the best mon in the format in my opinion. She also has many notable breakers to go with the Tailwind support. Palafin, Arcanine H, Bax, Sylveon, and Slitherwing. Her defensive mons are only interesting at best, but we can exclude them due to how Urshifu dismantles them. The reason I listed Sylveon as a breaker was because so far from what I've seen, Michiru always ran Throat Spray on it. So I'm counting on Michiru to bring Torn, Palafin, Throat Spray Sylveon, Gren, Arcanine, and the last one is either Slowking G or Pachirisu. So let's get into the team builder. The idea behind my entire team this week is to take advantage of Michiru's passivity in the first turn. Palafin needs to switch out to get boosted, Sylveon needs the Hyper Voice to get boosted, and Tornadus needs the Tailwind to get the team boosted. So what can I do during these turns? Boost alongside them. Here we have Bulk Up Punching Glove Urshifu. Finally, we have a functionally different set on this guy. The setup opportunities are far and wide against Michiru's team. And Terra Steel buys me a turn against the Fairy. Tornadus and Bax will also give me a free turn if I Terra Steel. And now we have Surging Strikes, of course, for the big damage, and Drain Punch for the big heal. We've got to run Protect on a setup sweeper because their threat level will attract aggression, so Protect can give my partners a free turn. Slowbro is my first support beacon. Icy Wind can nerf Tailwind strats or Greninja. Heal Pulse gets my setup sweepers healthy, and Helping Hand helps them secure KOs. Hydro Pump is here for offensive presence and synergizes with Espathra. Terra Water boosts his Pump and removes the Bug and Dark weakness to improve its matchup versus Gren and Slither. Gyarados is the second setup sweeper. Dragon Dance in double battles is something I haven't dared trying, but I believe we can pull it off. It's a third water type, but it doesn't really matter seeing as that type is favorable against Michiru. Waterfall is the only attack it needs. I didn't want Earthquake's effect of hitting my teammates, so I went for Terra Blast Ground. Terra Ground is also one of the best Terras for Gyarados anyways, as it flips its weaknesses around. Protect for the same reason as Shifu, and lastly, I have Clear Amulet to block Intimidate from Arcanine and Quillfish, as well as the potential Torn or Gren Chilling Water or Icy Wind. I wanted to run Moxie to capitalize on my aggressive builds, but she has so many physical breakers, Intimidate was too good to pass up. Speed Eevees creep Gren after a DD. Next is a strange Espathra. It's a support offensive fusion set meant to block priority with Psychic Terrain, and attract hits with all the stat changes it's creating. Endure plus Pitaya is the meme of this set. Coupled with Speed Boost, it's basically a special DD. Michiru has a million priorities, so Psychic Terrain can support itself or a Terra Gyarados. The terrain will also boost Lumina Crash. The -2 Spidef will greatly help out Slowbro and Maushold. And lastly, Dazzling Gleam is to hit Gren and Quillfish. Terra Fairy again, and same speed as Gyara for same reasons. Chestnut can be a setup sweeper, but its main goal is to expose Sylveon and Tornadus. Wide Guard can be spammed and blocks Hyper Voice, Bleak Wind, Icy Wind, Heat Wave, and even Rock Slide. This forces Sylve and Torn to run Moonblast and Hurricane, which should be more manageable. If Michiru doesn't have those moves, expect Chestnut to immediately make the match a 4v2. Iron Defense Body Press is still a good win con, just need Gren gone and Slowking weakened. Terra Ghost Terra Blast deals with her best fighting switch-in, Slow King, while not being weak to anything common. It also combos nicely with Bulletproof since it blocks Shadow Ball, which Sylveon might carry for whatever reason. Last Mon is Support Beacon number 2. Mousehold is here for redirection and Friend Guard as usual. Protect preserves Friend Guard, and Encore can punish First Impression, Protect, or if Torn goes for a Prankster move. I went with Hyper Voice to combo with Lumina Crash, and it's a more consistent damage option than Pop Bomb, which might miss or might trigger Rocky Helmet. Mitch also has 2 Intimidators and a greater average physical defense. So max speed and max special attack because I don't need anything else. Now on to the battle. My prediction was way off. No Gren, no Palafin, but most surprisingly, no Sylveon. Instead, there's Bax and Slither, and both Slow King and Pachirisu. No matter what Michiru brought, I can always try an early Gyarados sweep and see how Michiru responds to it. So that's what I do. I have Slowbro out to support it, and Urshifu and Mouse will be the second sweeper support duo in the back. So Arcanine reveals no Intimidate, so I can expect a Tailwind Head Smash. To start it off, I Terra Ground to get Gyara a free DD, and Slowbro can pump the Arcanine, so that Michiru can acknowledge that the Slowbro is not so passive. There's no Head Smash, but there is a Wild Charge, which works better for me. So I'm off to a good start, with Hydro Pump getting the Oko. But I have to be careful since Tailwind is up. Bax comes out. Since I'm a ground type, the only way I see Gyarados living is by swapping Bro out to Mouse. Luckily, Gyara dodged the Bleak Wind, and that was the only reason it lived Crash. Terra Blast does a little over half, and now my goal is to just stall out Tailwind. I double Protect, then in the next turn, I'm gonna do another double Protect. The idea was to have one fail so I can improve positioning. If one dies, I can have Urshifu come in more safely. Unfortunately, both double protects work. That's really lucky, but not what I wanted. At least I can remove the Bax now by trading Mouse for it. Alright, so now I send out Slowbro. If I can connect Icy Wind, then perhaps Urshifu can clean later. First Impression is powerful, but thanks to Citrus, I live both hits. And Icy Wind connects on both targets. But now in this next turn, I just get double KO'd. Unless I dodge. No. So over here, I thought it was kind of over because Torn, I can Protect to stall the Tailwind out, but then Torn can just do another Tailwind, and I'm forced to try to either dodge Bleak Wind or stomach 2 CCs. So I Protect here to stall the Tailwind. And now Torn does not set up Tailwind, which was really surprising but good for me. So now I just needed to tank 1 CC, which is very doable. And now I just need to make sure Surging can one-hit KO. It does, very comfortably. So I was bailed out by that end game. Perhaps Mishiru forgot about the -1 speed, or her Slither had no speed investment, so it still would have been outsped under Tailwind. But on to the next game, a close win. I decided to lead Gera plus Chestnut this time, because Chestnut should be pretty good at attracting hits and can block Bleak Wind with Wide Guard. So there's the backs and Slowking. This should at least be 1 DD and a good body press to put backs in KO range. Backs actually Terra Electrics. And I had to Terra Ghost my Chestnut to remove my weaknesses. So that Terra Electric means, yeah, bye-bye Gyarados. I was lured in a false sense of security. Now that Body Press isn't doing too much. The future sight comes out, and I believe it locks onto Chestnut since Gyarados fainted. So Shifu comes out, and now I double target Slowking since -1 Backs doesn't feel like an issue at the moment. Backs does switch to Torn. And I do pick up the KO on Slowking. I'm glad I put Terra Blast because I almost considered running other stuff before the match. Now the score is even, and I protect my team from a Bleak Wind with Wide Guard, but that didn't happen. I still got the Oko on Torn, so that's good. Future Sight, even though I'm not weak to Psychic anymore, it still KOs me. It surprised me. Okay, so the reason I had Espathra in the back was to soak up more hits with Endure. So I do what is basically a double protect. I'm trying to stall the Tailwind and make Pelopsis look like a threat so that all the attacks will be directed towards her. Unfortunately, even with Speed Boost, the Tailwind makes me lower. So Espathra still does its job of divvying up the damage, and Shifu barely lives the Terra Blast. If I can KO this Baxcalibur, I could have won, but that Bax was too tanky. That was really close. So the lesson of the story is Bax is tanky, and Protect would have been way better on Espathra instead of Endure, because Espathra would have lived the rest of Slither's moves unless it had a Leech Life or U-turn. So in the last game, I'm realizing how all in I'm going for my Gyarados and Shifu. So, it's time to bring out the Shifu Mouse lead. Because I should be able to bulk up for free, especially with Terra Steel to survive Torn. Mouse's Follow Me attracts Nuzzle, Wisp, and CC. So there's no situation that can stop her Shifu from getting +1 and staying healthy. So Michiru leads Slowking and Slither, both single target Mons, so I can bulk up Follow Me. It could be a little dicey if Slowking Trick Rooms, but I should still be able to get a kill with Shifu in the next turn. I redirect both attacks and still live. And Mousehold still lives. That's the best case scenario. Now I can Encore Slither to force a switch, and based on the damage from last game, a +1 Surging Strike should have a high chance to Oko Slowking. It does, so that was a flawless turn 2. So now I just follow me to eat an Ice Shard. I was expecting Terra Blast, to be honest. Yep, right there. Then I get a huge Oko on the Tornadus who was switching in for Slither. Future Sight actually comes out, and thankfully, since it was targeting Chestnut, it didn't retarget to Urshifu. Um, I had no idea that's how it would work, so that was a big relief. So Gyarados is here, but only to spam Intimidate, because Michiru can't switch out his physical mons anymore. With that in mind, I immediately withdraw Gyara to Chestnut, and Urshifu just gets to mindlessly click Surging Strikes. Now the reason in the next turn I clicked Drain Punch over Surging is because I felt bad for spamming Surging. And from here, the Iron Defense sealed the game, and Michiru forfeits. So if you were counting my Surge and spam, that was 22 Surging Strike hits. What a top tier mon. Michiru didn't have much to say at the end of our set. I believe she was rushing for something, which could explain some of her plays, like the end of Game 1 and the start of Game 3. I do want to praise her team builder for this week though. I was really banking on Palafin or Sylveon to come in for Wide Guard to shine, but I guess we'll find another time for Wide Guard.